Okay, this is the new Premier 1 or P1 mobile, our new MDCs that we'll be launching at the end of this month. So to launch the new MDC, you're going to find your icon. It's going to launch. The login procedure is very slow compared to what we're used to. That is normal. It's going to pop up to what's called the simple login screen, and you're going to start entering your credentials. User ID, that's the actual asset number of the vehicle. We could not change this tag to asset number. We tried. It's fixed with user ID, but for us, it's asset number. Unit ID is going to be your call sign. So in this example, truck 3. The password is our standard password of 1 shift 5. Agency is going to be FD. Area, you're going to want to select Battalion 1 and Battalion 2. Do not select these other areas because it's going to clutter your screen when we show you later on. The role is going to be fire. And then the very first time you log in, you're going to have to go to your detailed login screen and select your station. So most of the stuff stays the same. Environment is going to be production. There will be a training environment available when we go live, and you do not want to select training. Station. This does not affect unit recommendations, but it does affect tear and run print and your WestNet. It won't let you log in without a station selected, and this is where you want the WestNet to activate. Station 3 for truck 3. And then log in. This tells you that you logged in correctly. And from this portion, it is slow to get logged in. Not mine. So now you can see you're logged in. Across the top, we have our function keys. These are static. They never change. They're always going to be here. We try to make them large, limited a lot of the buttons we currently have to make it easier to press on the touchscreen. You can either press F1, use your mouse, or the touchscreen to activate any of these buttons. Right now we're on our home screen. Obviously these buttons should be self-explanatory. Down here we have a next set of buttons. These functions are also replicated here. We'll go through each one of these. So if you wanted to see any active incidents, you could click on incident. We'll just go through here real quick. This next tab. So I can change from day to night mode. I can also increase the size of my font however I like. Next tab over. This shows me who I'm logged in as. I'm asset number T018 and I'm user ID of truck 3. This P means I'm in the production side. If I accidentally check the training side, it would be a red T here and you'd know you're incorrect. Log out procedures we'll go through at the end when we talk about reserve units. We didn't sync now. Every once in a while, they're going to ask you, we'll probably tone out and say you need to sync your computer. If we make some changes programming-wise and we need to push those out to the MDCs, we'll have you sync and it'll make the connection. We don't lock session. We don't switch. We don't switch new users. We don't transfer new users. All those are dispatch functions and we do not change roles. So those functions we don't use. Create error report. If at any time you get some sort of strange error message that pops up, you want to immediately click Create Error Report. It's going to take screenshots, capture the logs on the backside, and then you're going to want to upload the error report. When you get back to the station, you will still complete your help desk ticket, but this way, when it gets sent to Motorola, they can come and look at the screenshots and the error logs and kind of have an idea what happened to your computer. We don't change passwords, and this exit is only going to be used if we're actually turning the computer physically off, powering it all the way down. So we really never use these functions either. Here's your status bar. If you wanted to change your status. Every status that's in the CAD is available. You can see there's a bunch of them. We don't really use most of them. We prefer that you only use available in quarters and available on radio, which we have buttons up here for. The rest of these statuses, we would still prefer you to use the radio, so the dispatchers are making those status changes for you. This little piece of paper, if you click on it, it'll pop over the screen where you can put in a location if you are doing inspections. that'll show up so people will see that you're available on radio and you're doing inspections. Here, these tabs are static. We cannot change them. So right now, unit status, these are all the units that are logged on into CAD right now and what their status is. So Battalion 1, he's assigned to this incident. Engine 1, available in quarters. You can see Truck 3, we're available on radio and we're doing inspections. We just made that change. So here's the status of all of our units. On the simple login screen, there was an area called AMR. If you select that, this screen is going to be filled with over 300 AMR units. It sorts alphabetically, so you'll never see the fire units that you want to see. So that's why you only select Battalion 1 and Battalion 2. Some of these units like Safety and PIO and Notify, those will be recommended on structure fires, and that's a reminder to the dispatcher to actually make those, contact a PIO and find a safety officer. So you'll see them attached to incidents, but it's more for a dispatcher reminder. This tab is incidents. Here's 2 active incidents we have right now, training-wise. We have, this is a medical aid and this is a strike team. These 2 units are on a strike team. If you want to double-click, the incident will pop up and you can see, where these people are, what they're doing, any information. If you want to, you can actually self-dispatch. So if you were a battalion chief and you were looking at incidents, you could view one, or anybody. You could self-dispatch yourself and it'll add you to the unit. You'll get all the information. You can also just click and hit self-dispatch right here. So as a battalion chief, this might be a nice feature. You see engine 3 is on a call. You just highlight it, click self-dispatch. It's going to put you en route and map you to the call. Query, we don't use it, it's not turned on, and I cannot eliminate it. Who's on? These are all the people that are currently logged on into CAD. So we log on with user asset number, so it's not going to be super helpful. But that's who's logged on onto an MDC currently. Most of this stuff's going to be filtered out because we're going to filter all these PD units off the screen. On your unit status, you can double click on a unit. These are hyperlinks and it'll show you what status they're in currently. So let's say you wanted to look at this incident. You can self-dispatch. It changed your status to en route. It updated us that Truck 3 is now going with Brush 1 on this strike team incident, which is at Orange Street. You can scroll down to see the comments, or you can hit this comments button right here. It'll pop up and you can see all the comments. So it's going to be easier than we currently have where you try and scroll. There is going to be one more update prior to go live, and this comments box is going to be moved up. So you'll be able to see it from here down. But if you have to, you can just go that way and you can see all the comments. Over here, you can see, you can either use your mouse, your touchscreen, or any letter that's underlined. If you hit Alt and then that letter, it'll take you there. So if I want to go back to summary, I can use Alt-Y. It'll take me there. Premise hazards. We call these premise histories. In this system, they're called premise hazards. That number 1 indicates that there is a premise hazard at this address. So I can look at it. And this is a police premise hazard. So we self-dispatch ourselves to this call. We've looked at the comments, we've looked at the premise hazards, but obviously we want to map ourselves. This map button up here, F8, is just opens up the map. You will see yourself. You will see where all the incidents are, but it's not going to give you driving directions. Map and drive directions on here at the bottom, so you can use your mouse, touchpad, or Alt-M. I wanted to get this button here, but I couldn't. It's locked down on this bottom tab. I agree, it's not user-friendly. So that's how you get to map. The map that's loaded in here right now is incorrect. The fire map is being loaded, but we don't have time to wait for all the IT parts to get configured before we go live, so that's how you're going to get to your mapping directions. Obviously, your status buttons of on scene changes you on scene. And then you can either close the call if you're the last one leaving the incident, or you can go available on radio. Either one, you have to provide a disposition. This currently happens now, we just don't realize it. We only use the disposition of close incident, close or clear. Cancel and duplicate, these are dispatch functions. Duplicate is used, 5 people are calling in the same river bottom fire at the same time. 5 call takers create 5 different incidents. We dupe them all together because it's really one. This is something that we do not do. What we consider a duplicate call is different from what a dispatch center considers it. Cancel is the same thing. This is not a cancel and route. This is a call was created in the CAD system in error, and we have to cancel it. There's no delete, so you have to say, I'm canceling this, and they'll put text in why it was canceled. So we're always going to close incident, and then hit OK. Now we're available on radio. We can go back home if we want, whatever we want to look at. Go back in quarters. Down here along the bottom, we have 3 more buttons. Help. This will bring the launch, the online help menu. You can search anything you ever wanted to know about the mobile, and it's going to be in here. Self-dispatch we talked about mobile. This is going to bring up the version you're currently on. So if there is an IT issue and somebody wants to know what version are you on, you want to go to About Mobile, and you can tell them what version, server, all that kind of stuff. That's really if you're having problems with your MDC and IT needs help. Messaging. If you want to send a message to a unit, you can launch your messaging, new. If you know the address, which I'll show you how to figure that out, you can click 2. Right now, truck 3 is the only unit logged on as MDC, so that's the only person I can choose from. But I would highlight from here, move it over to here, and that's the address that I'm going to send my message to. Type away. Send. If you want to send a message to a dispatcher, right now it's agency FD. Dispatchers are in agency DC for dispatch center. Right now, here's all the dispatchers that are logged on. So if you know who you wanted to send a message to, then you can type away. When you're on your home screen, if you have a message, it's going to pop up here. This number 1 is that message I sent to myself. So if you're working and you get somebody to send you a message, you're going to see pop-ups here. When I open up an incident, this incident number is actually a hyperlink. If I click on it, it's going to send an email message to everybody assigned to this incident and the specific dispatcher that's working it. Currently, you have to know, are they on OP06, OP09, or they could be somewhere else. I just click on the hyperlink. It's going to get to my dispatcher, so I could send them VIN number, license plate. Can you run this for me? I don't have to know exactly where they're sitting. It's going to be right there in that hyperlink. Okay, so I just went to incident over here. It brought up the incident that I last looked at, but I can go search down here. There's other functions down here. You're going to learn to use them. This is how I could search a unit history. Unit history, enter my unit ID. I want to look and see what engine 6 has been doing. Set my date range, set my time. So we can search by date, range, and time now. It's not just the last 6 records. Hit my search button down here. Here's engine 6 history for the date range I entered. We can no longer cut, copy, and paste onto the daily log. We're going to find a different solution for that, and that ultimately is going to be through Firehouse. So you cannot cut, copy, and paste this onto your log anymore. Each one of these are basically links, and you can see. Obviously, we don't really have any live data, so there's not a whole lot of information here, but that's how you would do a unit search. You could also do, I want to search all the structure fires that have happened. Type code is STR. It's in the policy. And I want to just, all the structure fires that are in closed status. I could do a date range. I'm going to search. Here's all the test structure fires we've done in the system. So you could, if you're interested on doing a research project on structure fires, vegetation fires, where they're occurring, you can do an incident recall based on the type code. You could even do it by address. type in the address if you wanted to see all the calls that are Carlson Dog Park, enter the address, verify it that exists, and then search. So you could see where are all of our vehicle fires happening, structure fires, vegetation fires. So that's all through this search menu. Go back home. So then this screen is going to pop up when we have an incident. So you have a new incident, address, type. You can do three things. Cancel and view. It's just going to cancel the screen. It's not going to do anything. View, I'm going to look at the incident, but it won't change my status. I'll still have to go up here. If I just hit view and en route, it's going to bring up the incident form and put me in the en route status. Now I can go map, drive my directions, look at any comments, premise hazards, and respond to the call. So that'll be a view and en route. You just click on it. Your button's up top on scene. I'm going to close the call. Dispositions popped up. Shortcut I found is you hit the arrow button down. It's going to bring up that. Hit the space bar to select it and hit enter. It's going to send my disposition and give me the clear status. So that screen is what it's going to look like when you get a call. Let's talk about logout procedures. Right now in the morning, most of our engineers are restarting the computer. That's a good idea. It always, improve performance. So I click here to go log out. So when you log out, this screen's going to pop up. Are you sure you want to log out? Unit remains active in CAD. When you see this screen, you need to stop and think about what you're trying to do. You're just restarting your computer. You want to stay active in CAD, so you need to click this box. If you hit yes right now, you're going to log out of CAD and truck 3 is not going to be in the system anymore. So I'm just restarting my computer for performance. Click the button. I'm logging out. On the CAD terminal for dispatch, they still see truck 3. I can restart my computer. It should automatically relaunch itself. So now I've restarted my computer. I'm back to my login screen. You're going to notice everything is cached from my last login. So all I really have to do is enter my password, but I can change this. Let's say I'm going to get on a reserve unit. I enter in the new credentials for the reserve I'm putting on. Engine 288. My user ID. So remember, this is user ID is asset number. Whatever station I want to be at, which is going to be station 3, I'm going to be truck 3. Log in. Successfully logged in. So we can move the unit ID between MDCs with the new system that we cannot do now. Our plan is to have MDCs in all units, reserves and frontline, locked down. So when you go to get in a reserve, you're going to log out of the frontline unit, log into the reserve, put the correct credentials in, and you're going to launch it and you should be good. So now 288, that is actually reserve unit engine 52. So at this situation, I'd let the dispatch center know, can you place engine 52 unmanned, in service as truck 3. Same procedures we're doing now. The advantage is we can move our unit IDs, especially for strike team situations and reserves. Right now we're logged in as truck 1. Truck 1 is cross-staffed with brush 1, and we can see brush 1 is on a strike team or mutual aid incident. So in this scenario, brush 1 goes out. It automatically puts truck 1 unmanned, just like it is today. Overtime crew comes in and wants to staff truck 1. They climb in. They're going to go available in quarters. Truck 1 is now available in quarters, recommendable for dispatch. Brush 1's on an incident. You know what? I want to self-dispatch myself to this structure fire on Jones Street. Self-dispatch. I'm now en route. I go on scene. Ultimately, I'm going to clear this call. I'm going to go available on radio. Still have to enter my disposition. Oh, it worked. Sweet. make sure if you're on a cross staff unit and one of these, your other unit, your sister unit is on a mutual aid, always make sure that your status is correct here. It is possible that you're going to default back to the unmanned status, so be mindful. Truck 1, engine 12, and engine 14. If your other unit is on a strike team, be mindful that you're in the right status. Now let's say truck 1 is going to go out of service and we need to put a reserve in service. We're going to log out. Remain active in CAD. So we saw that we click that box that truck 1 is going to remain active in CAD. We get into the reserve unit and we just change our asset number to whatever unit we're trying physically logging onto. Enter our password, make sure our station's correct, log in. Gotta show them about strike teams. So in this scenario, engine 6 is logged in, asset number 312. We're gonna get sent on a mutual aid assignment out of the city, something for 14 days. So we're gonna want to reuse this unit ID later on in the city. If you have time, you want to log out, remain active in CAD. So we're gonna go on a strike team. I logged out. I want to change my unit ID to RIV E6. That's going to free up the E6 to be used again on a reserve unit. Ideally, this will take place prior to dispatch. If it doesn't, the dispatch center can make the change later on. So I was already logged into engine 6. I'm changing my unit ID. Yes. I'm logged in. I can get assigned to the mutual aid incident. I still want to remind the dispatch center, can you put engine 6 unmanned staffing at station 6? So now they can put me RIV E6 on a mutual aid assignment out of the city. That frees up engine 6 designated to be used again on a reserve unit somewhere in the city. And we've seen the login procedures. It's asset number, user ID, and the password is the same. And then make sure you're at the right station.